Remember that 2007 bootleg Wubbzy episode where Wubbzy goes feral over being replaced by Fublub and goes on a horrendous rampage and kills all civilians in Wuzzleburg? Well, I have apparently found another DVD pertaining to Wubbzy, only that it's much more disturbing than my previous experience with that said episode. I was yet again tested on another filmed episode that was yet to be released to the public at Nickelodeon Studios. It wasn't a DVD, nor in a VHS tape, it's rather in a video file on a computer. I went to Files and clicked on the link I was given. The episode's title was named, Wow Wow Wubbzy Unreleased Series Finale Episode. MOV. I was curious why is it called that. So I clicked on it, as the video file loaded up. It began with the Boulder Media and Stars Media logos. The Nickelodeon fish ident was soon shown. But something was off. After the fish got close enough to the screen, it panned down to the Nick Jr. Frogs logo, with them holding suitcases. The strangest part of them all was the frogs began speaking. "Come on Buzz, won't you hurry up?" Nick Frog said in a hurry. "Dad, I don't wanna die, please we have to hurry," the Junior Frog said in nervous. "Now son, remain calm, we don't want the current situation to escalate any further." Before the Nick Frog finished talking, the Nickelodeon fish came to the front, said ask them, "Needle End Frogs?" "Oh never mind that, we'll take this cut anyway." Nick Frog accepted. They hopped on the fish as the screen pans up again and they both swim off screen. Shortly a message appears saying this, "Warning. What you are about to see is a scrapped episode that was originally planned as the series finale of the Wubbzy series, but was later rejected due to scenes of violence, mass destruction, a bit of swearing, and scenes that are disturbing to younger audiences and viewers alike. Watch at your own risk. Thanks you." "Oh, won't be no good," I muttered. The message faded out as the intro began to play, but it doesn't look right. For starters, the sky was tinted in a lavender orange-like color, the clouds were a bit black, most likely resembling dark smoke, and the backgrounds were tinted red and were rusted. When it showed the show's logo, it was rusted and damaged, as the Nickelodeon Splat logo from 2008 until 2009 was unexpectedly seen, except it was darker and rusted, as a text was seen in the bottom right corner saying, February 21, 2010. It's a specific meaning that the show actually ended if you were to look it up. The background was black and the characters had worried and confused expressions on their faces. And lastly Wubbzy said, "Wow," in a worried tone. After the intro, the title card opened up. But what was off that it had Wubbzy looking down with shame as a meteor was seen soaring from above. As usual, Wubbzy read out the show's episode title, Wow Wow Wubbzy. Wuzzleburg's Scorched End. Hold up, Wuzzleburg's Scorched End? I said in confusion. Well, no wonder it's called that. I mentioned. The episode began with Wubbzy outside with his friends, having a party. He would then greet us, "Wow wow everyone. My friends and I are having a party. I'm just gonna go grab us some more doodleberries." He runs off to get more doodleberries inside his clubhouse, but to his shocked surprise, there were none, all except some soda cans which were still full, as he said in scared, "Oh no. We're all out of doodleberries. I need to tell the others about this." He then ran off to find his friends. He tells the others about there being no doodleberries as he pointed to an empty cup of the berries. "Calm down little buddy, we'll all go to the supermarket to buy some more doodleberries for us to share," Widget explained to him. They would all then go to the supermarket to buy the missing berries they all needed for their party. The doodleberries were seen as the gang were collecting a huge amount of the berries. "Well everyone, I think we should be ready." Before he could say anything else, an emergency alert sound was going off as everybody started screaming for their lives. Wubbzy asks what's going on, as one of the employees yelled out, "NS-160R meteor inbound to hit all of Wuzzleburg within less than 4 hours. Get to shelter while you can." Soon enough they began to run out of the store, still carrying their pack of doodleberries. "Guys, what about paying for the berries?" Wubbzy asks. "No time Wubbzy, a meteor's gonna strike the earth in less than 4 hours. And besides, They lets us leave quickly with the doodleberries for free, Walden yelled out. Oh, I get it, Wubbzy said. They continued running to what seemed like a public shelter. Cars were seen crashing into each other, while one was seen flying from the sky. The environment, which used to be all sunny and warm, was now dark crimson maroon, knowing the very dire consequences about the meteor hitting Wuzzleburg. Soon enough they entered the shelter where everyone was there, waiting for disaster to strike. They all soon waited, in which 2 hours passed by. Walden decided to check his phone. A message was seen that read out, critical alert. NS-160R meteor is estimated to hit Earth within the next hour. Find shelter immediately. No. This isn't gonna end well, Walden said in worried. Just then a small stampede, with a couple of Wubbzy's friends as they all ran inside for their safety. That also includes the Wub girls, who are named Sparkle, Shimmer, and Shine. Wub girls. Sparkle, Shimmer, and Shine, you're finally here. Even Birdie Bird too, Wubbzy shouted happily. Now that you're all here, we can all be safe from the meteor. He told everyone. It then showed a street getting vandalized as the criminals destroyed half of the buildings, out of fear I should say. Soon enough a pickup truck came by and lost control as it crashed into a sign that said "Let's clean up the earth." Next it showed a scene where Cookie was driving his bicycle to the public shelter while drinking a couple of energy drinks. After he made it there, he drove his bike inside while screaming out, "Cookie!" A plane was seen ascending down to the public shelter. When it stopped its door came open while a crowd inside went out heading to the shelter, screaming. Then it cuts to a bus where we see the rest of the characters in the show, particularly panicking about the current situation. One of the people told the driver to drive fast as he said he apparently was. Eventually one passenger shouted that they've made it to the shelter as we see the Nickelodeon fish and the Nick Jr. frogs, who didn't have their word mark on them for some reason. Then the scene cuts to the meteor soaring through the sky for about 7.5 seconds before cutting back to the shelter. 20 minutes passed over and everyone was bored. Until another stampede broke in, with the rest of the cast coming in. Oh great heavens! Another stampede, Daisy yelled out. Then suddenly a crash was heard outside as one of the people looked outside as they saw a car crashed into a truck. Oh crap. People are rushing just to get some safety. Don't they realize they're running out of time? Soon enough, someone called that person's name downstairs. He went downstairs to find a familiar person whose name was Cookie. "Kookaburra," Cookie said. "Ugh guys, you all might wanna see this," said Billy Bob as the Nickelodeon fish. Everyone looked at the clock seen in the back as it read out, 9:57 p.m. They all gasped in shock and horror. Wubbzy soon said, "Oh my." That's when everyone began screaming, while running around in circles, thinking they will all die very soon. "Meteor. Meteor. You frickin' dumb face." The bakery chef yelled angrily. "Sir, please calm down, we'll all be fine as long as we survive this catastrophe," one customer said. "Oh God," Daisy nervously said. "Good golly, I'm praying that we all don't die," said Widget. "According to my phone, the current time is 9:58 p.m., said Walden. "And crap. It's gonna hit in 2 minutes." Suddenly the figure of the Boulder Media logo opened the door in the shelter while he said, "Just in time." "Oh my goodness, who the hell is that?" Someone in the near back shouted. "Don't worry fellow citizens, I come in peace," said the figure as he pulled out a frame with a blue star, resembling the star's media logo. Just then the announcer came on and spoke with a panicked voice as he spoke. "Attention all citizens of Wuzzleburg, NS-160R will hit the Earth in approximately less than 15 seconds. Brace for impact once again, brace for impact." Everyone gasped in horror as it zoomed to Wubbzy as he said nervously, "Oh no." Soon enough, a countdown began, switching through different scenes. But it gets progressively worse each second. 10. Cars crashing into each other. 9. Some passenger having an anxiety attack. 8. The Boulder figure saying, "Lord please save us all." 7. The pickup truck in the sign, now on fire. 6. Another passenger yelled, "I have a bomb." 5. Billy Bob as Nickelodeon fish circling around while screaming in fear along with the Nick Jr. frogs screaming as well. 4. A Woozle citizen shoutly saying, "Brace yourselves. It's coming." 3. Walden drives himself to shaking nervously. 2. Wubbzy also seemingly shaking nervously while saying, "Wow, ow, 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 ow." 1. The Wub Club where the party was still standing, about to be swept away in the impact of the meteor. Before the meteor hit, a person with a cape flew up to the meteor to stop it from impacting. Unfortunately, it would crush the man as the world was soon driven into pieces. It cuts to the Earth getting destroyed as dramatic orchestrated music begins playing, most likely referencing the intro theme song. It then cuts to a shot of Wuzzleburg getting destroyed by the meteor. It would then transition back to the shelter, where Wubbzy and his friends were covering themselves, while tant smoke and particle flames were flying overhead and about. "Oh dear God, what is happening?" Walden cried. "Don't you know? The end has come," Widget yelled. "I didn't know it was gonna be like this at first. We aren't gonna die just like the movie where the asteroid hits the Earth," Daisy shouted. "Oh no, we're going down. See you all on the other side," Wubbzy yelled. They all screamed in absolute fear as they flew out and hit a wall, but the scene was shortly cut to black. After a few seconds, a bright subtle figure of what seemed Wubbzy, Widget, Walden, and Daisy. There was a man that sounded like Bob Boyle. "Wake up, Wubbzy, Walden, Widget, and Daisy." Bob Boyle spoke. Who is it?" Wubbzy tiredly asked, off screen. "I'm the creator, Bob Boyle." He spoke. Bob Boyle?" Walden tiredly asked, off screen. "I just wanna ask you are we ending the series?" Bob Boyle asked. What was that now?" Daisy asked. "If yes, we are. If no, we're not. So pick a choice." "Neither mind. So it's already over anyways." Bob Boyle spoke. Just then the bright figures slowly faded out. It would fade back into the shelter as we see Wubbzy and his friends slowly waking up from their blackout, and everyone soon began to wake up and walk out of the shelter only to find that the world had been shattered by the vengeful meteor. "Oh my. Wow, goodness," Wubbzy spoke. "What the hell happened to Wuzzleburg?" Daisy cried. They began to scavenge and look around the now destroyed city while looking concerned. "I've just realized this," Walden spoke. "According to my calculations, the entire world had been wrecked completely and is now an inhabitable living hell place to live now." "Well, that's just terrible," Widget said. They all went to the Wub Club where it was completely wrecked and destroyed from the impact of the meteor, along with the party supplies. What happened to my clubhouse?" Wubbzy questioned. "Well, Wubbzy, your clubhouse and even your house had been both destroyed and caught in its fiery path due to the meteor's force," the firefighter explained. "Just remember you aren't the only one, kid. Our poor clubhouse is gone, now we have nowhere to live," Daisy said sadly. "Alright, what's the big deal?" "Oh, what happened here?" Billy Bob questioned. "Can't you see, Bill?" Nick Frog spoke. "The clubhouse is destroyed," Junior said. "Oh well, I'm out then," the bolder figure said as he walked off back to his home, sadly. Everyone soon fell down with Wubbzy and his friends. Then lastly, it surprisingly cuts to Sparkle, Shimmer, and Shine noticing that Wubbzy, Walden, Widget, and Daisy feeling down while they were sitting down. Sparkle said, "I'm so sorry that it happened, fellas." Then Shimmer said, "Yeah, it was an unexpected moment that it ever happened." Then Shine said, "Agreed. It was a most saddest end times of all." Then they sat down with them, and they also looked down. And the episode came to sad conclusion close with no additional song. Before the credits played, it cut to a message, with the show's logo that said, "Thanks for watching." Beneath it was a text saying 2006 and 2010. The credits would then roll in, but was instead tinted with a mixture of orange, and the instrumental version of the intro theme was instead replaced with the Untold by Sensation Studios. Then the closing logos were shown, which were far from normal. The Boulder Media logo was grayscaled, the figure wasn't seen, and the logo itself was rusted. The Stars Media logo was tinted a disgusting reddish maroon-like color, as the media byline was in a horror gothic-like font. The Nick Jr. Productions logo had the Nick father covering his ears as he was witnessing his son's death, as Jr. was burnt to a crisp. Not to mention that the background looked fiery, as an audio that sounded like the Lithuanian alarm was heard in the background. The Nickelodeon logo was normal, except it was the Haypile version, even though the episode was recorded around early January of 2009. However, at the end the logo seemingly glitched out and changed to a gothic-like logo as distorted screams played roughly while a scrambled text was seen, "He is in my walls, tearing through my flesh." It would then cut to black. The video would then cut to a close with a colorful background mixed with orange and light blue, with Wubbzy and his friends dancing. A text then flew up to the top middle corner of the screen saying, "Thanks for the hangover, viewer." I thought the episode came to an end, until static engulfed the screen. The static would then show a clip of Wubbzy screaming from Perfecto Party, when Walden was about to crash into his party. However, the screen zoomed into Wubbzy, but then the screen glitched and the image took a horrific turn. Wubbzy now had his skin melting and his eyes and mouth were huge and all hollow, along with him having no nose in a hellish and fiery background. I also heard what sounded like the jump scare sound from the Happy Mouse creepypasta, combined with the Siberian hell sounds, only that the scream was slowed but the pitch remained normal whatsoever. I jumped so high that I almost bumped my head onto the roof in my room. At that point the video file ended there, and I was far from traumatized at what I just witnessed. The file was soon unexpectedly removed for an unidentified reason. I would then leave for the day as it was getting dark. As of then I would write an email to Paramount regarding that Doomsday episode. They've responded after an hour, but all it said was this: disregard the episode. Doomsday is never gonna happen, never in a billion years. Signed Paramount Global, Nickelodeon, Boulder, and Stars Media. I stopped watching Wubbzy since then because of that meteor incident.